All right, ladies and gentlemen, you wanted it, you got it. After all the talk, after all the hype, we are now live on Facebook, on Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, Northeast Streaming Sports Channel on Roku, our flagship sportinarium.com/player, and it is the start of a very, very busy week here because, well, we're kicking it off in style. We're kicking it off with the boss. I mean, listen, Vince McMahon, we didn't want him. We didn't want Tony Khan. Dixie Carter, if she's still running things, we didn't want her. We wanted this guy here because his company, CCW, is definitely one of our favorite companies, and they're coming off a huge, huge, huge weekend that just took place here for them, which was their award ceremony. We're going to get into that, plus get us ready here for the huge event coming up June the 25th, Cold Not Dull, a number of matches with some friends of the show here. We'll also have some announcements here for CCW. So, without further ado here on the Sports Report, the number one global sports show, The Boss, also of top tier. That is James Barrass.
Woo! Thank you very much for that. Oh, that was the best introduction I've ever had being in this business. So thank you very much for that.
Well, I did one last Friday, and somebody was like, "Oh, well, Justin Roberts should maybe worry about his job." And I said, "Well, we'll get there, here nor there." But Mr. Barrass, it is a tremendous honor to have you here and to be able to speak about CCW once again. And it is always a treat when we get to speak with the company. And certainly, it was a big weekend for you guys. And congratulations on the success. And I'll get for those who are watching and listening to us for the first time, even for those in the CCW page, which we'll bring on in here in a second about CCW and the history of it. But I wanted to ask you on a personal level before anything else, what did this past weekend's award show and the ceremonies itself mean to you on a personal level?
It meant everything. Everything from day one of building up CCW with 3 letters in this mind, and just seeing everyone come together from how we first started to just a fantastic group that we've built together. And it was very emotional, and it was good times. It was just, there was a lot of emotions going on that night, but everybody left happy. Even, Sean's daughters, his mum and dad, even though with the sad circumstances that Sean couldn't be there to celebrate it with us, we still did him proud. He's looking down on us, and we did the big guy proud, which I'm proud of everybody for that. And the thing is what I like about it is none of them get paid to show affection, to show love. They do it because of the people and the person that they are inside. And it was nice to see them all getting together and hugging and being there for one another, especially on the Hall of Fame one for Sean. So I just want to say personally, thank you to everybody that did that. And, not only did you get a tear in my eye, and just the hairs were stand up on my arms, but you did his family proud. So thank you very much. I appreciate that.
What does that mean to the company to be able to have somebody like Sean Duffy be in the Hall of Fame on behalf of CCW? Because it's no easy feat. I know it's obviously unfortunate circumstances, but walk me through that. And I could see how emotional it was in watching, and not only for the family, but pretty much the entire company.
Yeah. The people on the inside that knew Sean, he obviously was this big, larger than life Hulk kind of guy. But when you knew Sean and you spoke to Sean, you would look twice and go, he's just a big, soft, gentle giant. And he would always have your back. He would watch out. He would be always up for doing what he could, being a team player. And we had some really, really good times with that guy, and really good times and stories. And it's not something that I would definitely take all that back to have Sean with us right now. Obviously, we know that can't happen, but as long as we can keep that guy's legacy alive, he was in it from the beginning. He believed in my vision. He believed in CCW. As soon as I told him about it, he was like, "When do we start? When do we rock and roll?" And when things were happening and people turned their backs on us, he stayed loyal. And he always said, I'll never forget these words. He went, "James, I was sitting on the fence looking at a garden, but one day you will have to jump off that fence and go in someone's garden." And what he was meaning was loyalty. And he said, sometimes in life we have to be loyal to something and have loyalty, which is hard to find these days. So I'll never forget them words. I'll always carry them with me. And I just want to kind of say, like, thank you, Sean. Cheers, big man. I'll never forget that. And, rest easy, brother.
Absolutely. And let me get to some comments in here first. And thank you, everybody that has joined in here from the CCW page on Facebook now. And Ronnie Thatcher says he gave me my nickname, the Gentleman Thug, and that will stay with me forever. Mad Max Cooper says, hello, Barrass. We're going to definitely get into Mad Max Cooper undoubtedly here in a little while for sure. But you said something interesting that I wanted to go back on. You talked about loyalty and being able to ride out the storm. And I'll get to in a few minutes how CCW all started here. I mean, we got a little taste of that from Lord Damian Stone, but I'd obviously want to get into a little bit more of it here for those that are obviously with us throughout all of our platforms that are hearing about CCW for the first time or know about it, but unfortunately might know some things that is not quite indicative of the company. But I mean, did that in a lot of sense what he had to say and being loyal and kind of sticking with you and being supportive kind of helped you guys in terms of quote unquote weathering the storm here over the past few weeks to be able to get through everything that I think was not indicative of what you guys do overall?
Yeah, definitely. The thing what Sean left was very impactful. His words, his wisdom. He was always there for everyone. So when he did pass on, we just all stayed like glue. And the thing about hi Slug, I've just seen his comment. The thing what all right, champ. So the thing what I love is the loyalty that we do have is behind the scenes as well as on the scenes. And yeah, he definitely helped a lot of people get through some tough times. He was willing to help get them into good fitness, into shape, all shapes and sizes. He was always wanting to just push people, to help people. It didn't matter his size. He never come in guns blazing. I want this, I want that. I'm the big guy, I'm this. He was like, you tell me what I need to do, and I'll go and do it to the best that I can do it. If I need to help anybody, I'll do it to the best I can do it. So what he's left for the rest of us in CCW is very impactful, and we'll always carry it around. We'll always say peace out. We'll always say C4A. And, we presented his mum with obviously in his father and his children, the Hall of Fame trophy. And we also had a little whip round. Everyone chipped in a bit of money, and we got a figure, a Sean, Mr. Carnage figure made for his family. And we should be receiving the Carnage Hardcore title, which I might do a little sneak peek, video on the CCW page very soon. And it looks phenomenal. It looks amazing. Like, I've never seen a belt like this, and I never thought a belt that we wanted to design in his honor.
And you guys have nice belts to begin with, because we've obviously seen the belts here on our shows on Sportswire Radio with, of course, Slugger and the working class militia and the rest of top tier, obviously with Chris Onyx, who we're going to definitely get into. So obviously, you guys do have pretty belts, and they always say they judge a company off the belts, and you guys definitely do have some of the premier belts around. We were speaking with obviously the boss, obviously the CEO, the man behind Colory Championship Wrestling. And if you like what you hear from the group, make sure you join the group on Facebook. Over 4,000 members. And they have a huge event coming up here, June the 25th, which you're very excited about here on Sportswire Radio, that we are going to be speaking about quite a bit here. We'll also have an announcement in a little while for a guest coming up Sunday. We'll also have Lord Damian Stone and Colin McGregor back in the house coming up here next Monday. And the Reverend David Dude says Sean was one of the best, will always be missed. The time we had together was short, but it was profound. And Mad Max Cooper says top tier, they have Barrass, definitely not top with him in it. Ronnie Thatcher says, I'm coming for that belt, James Barrass. Don't forget that E for E, C for E. We'll see about all of that stuff here, but I wanted to spend another few minutes on the awards ceremony itself, and it was definitely very eventful. I mean, leave aside the tear-jerking stuff we just got into, but definitely some variety of winners there, I'd have to say. We saw some different people in there, ranging from Ronnie Thatcher obviously was a part of it. Dustin Hart was a huge part of it. I mean, Tommy Diamond. I mean, it was pretty much a who's who of people there that got awards. I'm watching throughout the ceremonies there. I don't think you left anybody out, almost, I felt.
The ones that didn't come, that couldn't make it, there is obviously medals there for them. Obviously, yep. I think one of the best ones of the night for me, well, personally, for certain reasons, is, wait for it, Mr. Okay. Mr. Okay, that was definitely. That was a good one. That was a good one. That was definitely a good one. That's his catchphrase.
I know.
You've got to wait for it. This guy is 51-year-old, and he just smiles all day. He's just a happy-go-lucky man, and he's just so thankful to just be a part of something. And CCW have given this opportunity and given this like chance and brought him into the family and made him one of our own. And I thought, I'm going to make this man very liked, and I'm going to do everything I can to help this man be very liked and to do great things. And there's great things in the project for this man, and he is definitely so over with the crowd. People love him, and he's just a fantastic man and a human being. And it got announced last night on Sunday night detention. Colin announced that him and Hannah, his partner, are getting married. They got engaged on the night of the award night. So congratulations to them. And yeah, and it's just, when I've seen him in training, he never complains. You tell him, you show him, he'll do it and do it and do it until you tell him to stop. And the man just gets on, and he's an inspiration. And obviously, I know he's got some sort of like learning difficulties and things like that, but that doesn't matter to me, because you can always find the best out of somebody no matter what's going on. Because at the end of the day, some people might look and go, nah, don't want to even entertain that. Okay, pass them this way. I'll see what I can get out of them. And if I can get the crowd going for them, whether they're cheering or booing, then I've done my job, and we've done our job. And so, like I say, never give up on the guys, never give up on me. And he's a pleasure to have on board on the ship with CCW. So,
and I think that's what pro wrestling brings to the table, almost more so than anything else. And obviously, you guys do a phenomenal job with that. Is that in professional wrestling, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter any disadvantages you might have. It doesn't matter whatever the circumstance may be. You can still be a productive member and almost in a sense overcome those obstacles. I think pro wrestling really doesn't get enough credit in terms of what it brings to the table for so many different people. And let me get to some more comments. And Mad Max Cooper says he is more over than the person he follows. The Reverend David Dude is with us and thought I would give this a watch on the old YouTube. Barrass talking fill in the blanks as usual. So let's get into it then. Let's turn the page a little bit, as Metallica would say famously, and turning the page. And I mean, you and the Reverend David Dudes have been going back. I mean, back and forth for quite a while here. I mean, I'm giving you the floor here now. I mean, tell us all about it and what's going on.
I do know you are the nicer of the reverends. I would definitely swap you in a heartbeat. So if you would like to get a flight over to the UK, I'll send that guy packing with Pandemus.
Considering my crypto portfolio and mutual funds these days, I might want to do that. Considering I might be nice right now, but if I turn the page literally and looked at my portfolios, maybe I wouldn't be so nice and might want to take you up on that offer.
Yes, me and that. Am I allowed to say idiot?
Well, you can say that. That you can definitely say. Yes.
Okay, that idiot, he low-blowed me to get the win.
Yep.
And, obviously he did what he had to do. Don't get me wrong. It was no holds barred, and I'll give him that little bit of credit. But if we ever, and I mean, Reverend, if you were watching this, Sunshine, if we ever cross paths again, this time you will not be so lucky. Do you understand? You'll be praying to God that you will never, ever have low-blowed me to win that match. Do you understand? Now, I'd like to see you comment what you were going to comment. It'll be rubbish and garbage. But I respect this, Reverend, but I don't respect you.
Well, we've got some comments that are certainly following up with that. Prince Dagan, who we're going to get to Prince Dagan in a little while, because obviously he's going to be in a match on June the 25th, and we have an announcement toward him. But he obviously gives his opinion. And Taylor Truths also says, Tom, you have a clown on the show, I see. Would you like to respond to Taylor Truths? Because you are here with us, and we'd like to give you the floor.
Taylor, you are nothing but a sausage, and I will eat you up any day of the week. Do you understand that? While wearing your deer stalker. So watch your mouth, and I'll see you on the 25th, because I'll not see you on the 25th because you won't be showing up. But if you will drop your deer stalker off, I'll happily wear it on the night, and I'll take some photographs for you. How about that, Sunshine?
Well, wow. We are certainly getting into it, and you just wait to see some more comments, and it'll certainly continue to pick up here. Matthew James says, hi, James Barrass. Mad Max Cooper says, if Barrass takes a liking to you, I'll spear you back to America if you ever step foot on our soil. So clearly, Mad Max Cooper has voiced his opinions on what he thinks of Mr. Barrass. Taylor Truths kind of gives that funny emoji, and Matthew Joseph says Dagan is the wrestler with the most potential in CCW. So let's get to that. I got some more comments, but what's your thoughts on that? Because that's an interesting question for those that are watching and listening to this. I mean, is that something you see? Walk me through your thoughts on that.
Are we talking about Dagon or that idiot from Scotland, Mad Max Cooper?
We're talking about Prince Dagan right now. Mad Max Cooper, we're not talking about.
Okay, I'm pleased about that one. He can go back at the queue like he's always bloody been. Anyway, moving on to Prince Dagon. Yeah, that creep, he did startle me in the graveyard one night and chased me off. But he hasn't stood in front of me since then, really. And he's kept his nose clean around top tier. But he's picked the wrong side, obviously, and not top tier, and went with their, Pandemus and the Reverend. But he's made his bed and he'll lie in it. But yeah, he's young, he's hungry. I do see a lot of potential. Will he be champ soon? Who knows? That's down to him. As long as he doesn't step in front of me anytime soon. He has Rob Bagwell to deal with, not top tier. So you deal with that one, whatever that is in Latin. Someone translate that to him.
I didn't take Latin in school, so unfortunately, I can't be the one that can translate it for you. But before I get into further comments, I have to ask you, since I actually live across the street from a graveyard, how was that like, being startled in a graveyard? I mean, for me, it's almost like second nature, but what was that like for you?
Well, it was very dark. I didn't have a torch or anything like that. So, yeah, when this guy is standing like against a wall, like you would see someone out the Blair Witch Project, and then he turns around, and he's looking like that, and he's coming towards you. You stand in terror, or you just run and get the hell out of there. So I chose option B, not because I am scared. I am top tier, of course.
Obviously, we're going to get into top tier. Don't you worry.
But obviously, I didn't know, it is Merton Colliery after all. I didn't know if he had a weapon on him or anything like that. You have to keep your distance and just, fight another day. Live that night and fight another day.
Well, we'll certainly see. And something tells me here we'll have an announcement for the Prince in a little while. And Taylor Truth says, how won't I? ? I'll be there. Slugger Hampton, of course, no stranger to us here on Sportswire Radio. And we'll have another announcement also, of course, of one half of the Working Class Militia, our reigning defending CCW Tag Team Champions. And Taylor says Taylor is lucky he didn't get his head smashed in again at the awards. The Reverend David Dude says, ha, Barrass, I have something that you'll never have and never can have, a 100% record. Think I'll hang up the singlet now. So I guess we're having a retirement announcement here, or is that just because he doesn't want to face you again?
Rev, that is because I have just warned him and he knows my warnings are true. So he is just dropped the bottle and he's going to run home. So it looks like Dagon is going to be taking over Pandemus because your Reverend has dropped his backside.
Ooh, ladies and gentlemen, certainly very, very strong words here tonight. And Slugger Hampton says the emptiest threat I've ever read. We have Rio Delador. The Countless is a WCM fan and a Dagon fan. So is that possible to be a fan of both?
Rio, is that possible? Come on, think about it. Think about it. The Working Class Militia, top tier. Now, next comment that the Rev will put on there, it will say the Countess is only a fan of top tier and leave Dagon out. Thank you, Rio. Much appreciated.
Well, she says, Dagon scares me. Ha, ha, ha. So, all right. So I guess that might be sort of what you just said. And Mad Max Cooper says, Slugger Hampton don't do empty threats. So, okay. So I guess Mad Max Cooper's agreeing, or maybe he didn't read that correctly.
Mad Max Cooper, you've been gone for a while since Bat Pigeon kicked your backside. So he came back for one reason only, for an award. But Max, I haven't forgot when you kidnapped my mother and you got her in the car, and I'll never forget that. So you just stay in Scotland where you belong and leave CCW to all of us. Because if you were to come down and I see you, God forbid what will happen. You'll be asking the Reverend for prayers and mercy, because I will not forget what you've done to my mother.
Ladies and gentlemen, something tells me here, if there's a way that the man behind CCW, Mr. James Barrass, can bar Mad Max Cooper from coming in to England, he will definitely do that, and he'll do that quicker than a New York minute. Prince Dagon says, recta ad inferos. So I'm assuming this is Latin here, because I don't know what that means.
Recta ad inferos. Straight to hell. I know what that means.
Ah, okay. Good enough. That's why I'm glad that I asked before I said anything further. And the Reverend David Dude says, so you choose run, and you ran like a little fill in the blanks.
If you mind, Reverend, I am talking to a real Reverend. This guy is more of a legend than what you are. You just go read your Bible, say your prayers, and run up the Pandemus and everyone, and Beelzebub and Spawn and Dagon's backside, while this Reverend runs the real show.
Well, we'll certainly see. Certainly, I'll plead the fifth on who's a real Reverend and who's not. But what I will do is read some more comments from Mr. Barrass, because I have a bunch of them to get through. So let me do my job.
I've got all my fans in tonight, Rev. I've got all
you got
the
a lot
fans
of them.
tonight.
I'll tell you what. That's why, listen, Lord Damien Stone said, I think it was the month of May, 26,000 views were on the CCW Facebook page. I mean, that's unheard of. I mean, listen, for all the talk of CCW, I mean, you guys seem to be doing a really good job because apparently people like what you do. Despite all the talk, listen, I shouldn't even say this, and I'm going to say it. There was somebody, an individual, and I don't want to give the individual's credence. And this was when I was going to have Lord Damian Stone on, and the individual had been on the stream before. He's a part of another company. He does different things. If I say the individual's name or what he does, I don't want to give him credit for it. But he basically said, "Oh, you're having somebody on from that company?" And I said, yes, I am. He said, "Well, I'm gonna have to postpone that. You understand why?" I said, "Yeah." And then he said, "Well, I hope we can reschedule." Well, you know what? I'm going to announce it here on Sportswire Radio. That individual who postponed and wanted to reschedule, he's never coming back to Sportswire Radio because we support our friends here on CCW. We are loyal. We make sure that those that want to support us, we support them. So that individual, unfortunately, I wish you luck in terms of everything you do. Nothing personal, just like you said with us. But in the words of Vince McMahon on March the 26th, 2001, when he opened up Monday Night Raw and he fired Jeff Jarrett, basically for that individual, he's getting the same thing here. Now, he's not fired from Sportswire Radio, but you're banned from Sportswire Radio for good. So you are definitely GONE from coming back with us. It was something I've been holding on my chest here for a couple weeks, but we wanted to do that because we had Mr. Barrass here. So I'll tell you off the air who it was. I'll tell you off the air who it was.
Thank you. I do hope you feel a lot better getting that off your chest. It's good.
I did because certainly, look, obviously we know about what happened out there, but I don't think that it should be a mark on anybody or anybody that wants to come on here. And I think for that individual, clearly they might have some personality issues or some other things that they might be concerned about. And frankly, I want to support those that support us. And Ronnie Thatcher says, "You're scared of your own shadow. Stop thinking you're so big and hard, you mug." Our light in the dark champion here, Amber, says, "I'm the best on the roster." Barrass would agree. Would like to respond to that?
Amber, you are very good. I will agree. The first day that she came to CCW, she got an awesome reaction from our fans, and they welcomed her in. They took her in, and it was very, very nice to see. I do love the CCW fans. They do make people feel very welcome. I know Amber will agree on that one. And I think Amber's made friends for life. Amber lives right at the bottom, down Portsmouth. So she's on the bottom coast, and we're right. So she has a home away from home now. So that's what we do. We make a home away from home for any of our, talent that come from England, Scotland, anywhere. We'll do the very best to be like. Hospitality is second to none. The best that we can do for anybody.
Well, that's why we love Colory Championship Wrestling, and that's why it's CCF&W, as the T-shirts spell out so well. And Taylor Truth says the Rev can't retire as he has never started. I don't know which Reverend Taylor is referring to, but I'll say okay. And Matthew Joseph says, "How was Davey Sambuca hangover on Sunday?" I'm assuming that's an inside joke there. You want to elaborate on that? I guess.
I do believe that Matthew Joseph and some other individuals were buying the Reverend a lot of Sambucas. I do believe this is maybe because they thought the Reverend could clear them all of the sins, but I don't know if that is.
Well, I don't know if I could clear of sins if it wasn't in front of me. I mean, if it was a sin, I guess I could theoretically. I mean, I do have the power to do different things here, but if it's a sin, okay, I guess I'll clear it. But I mean, was it a sin to have a Sambuca hangover? I mean, I don't know. Is that big of a sin? I mean, there's other things that we can talk about it certainly. But Taylor Truth says, "I beat Barrass." We heard Rio's comment before. Rio also says he sets Orby on me if I don't say Dagan. Slugger Hampton says you wouldn't even get near you. Please, I'm behind on comments, so I'm just going to go shotgun here so I can catch up. Amber says the Notorious Angel is the future. We've got more in here. We've got Rio Delador says, but Barrass, me, and the Duke do have matching WCM bandanas. So I think that speaks for itself. Okay, I guess. I mean, all right, fair enough. The Reverend David Dude says, just remember when it comes to Dagan and Spawn, for that matter, you can't kill what's already dead. Okay, that's certainly fair points. Slugger Hampton says, we've also got an announcement later on, Rev, regarding our first guest on First Amendment Friday, if the boss is cool with that. Yeah, definitely. I would say in about maybe 15 minutes or so, I'd be happy to read off an announcement if Slugger Hampton is here still with us. Mad Max Cooper says, Barrass is that threat. Michael Brown says, good evening, James, with the CCF&W shirt.
Good evening, Michael and Sonia. Thank you. They're top fans as well.
Absolutely. You know, we love having our fans here. And Prince Dagan says, Sumis CCF&W. And Prince Dagan says the Reverend Tom Brush. I think he was happy with my soliloquy with that individual that we've decided that is never coming back to Sportswire Radio. So Mad Max Cooper gives his approval. So I guess on this one, he's happy. So the locker room seems to be happy on the soliloquy. But I promise for Mr. Barrass, I'll tell Mr. Barrass who the individual was, and he'll definitely know who the individual was. All I can say is when I tell him after we're done here in a little while, he'll definitely know who the individual is. So he's probably now going to be really excited for the stream to end and say, gee, who was that person that didn't want to come on? But Roddy Thatcher says, loyalty goes a long way. Well said, Reverend Tom. Thank you, Reverend, for the support. We appreciate it. Also, more thoughts here. Slugger says, Amber is on to something. If she was the best, she'd be with us in top tier. You ever thought on that,
Good
Mr.
point.
Barrass?
Good point. Yeah, I have actually, because top tier, you know, we expect all the champions, and we don't have the light in the dark champion with us. But she has a hands full on the 25th. I'll keep a close eye on Amber.
Well, let me ask you. Well, let's take a step back for a second. You said something that you guys want all the gold in top tier, correct?
Correct.
Amber is not a member of top tier, but Slugger has just said that she would be best in top tier. Let me put this out there. Would you guys be putting a feeler out here tonight for Amber to join the top tier? Is that something that you would like to share for us here?
All I will say on this matter is, Amber, I'm keeping a very close eye on you. So good luck on the 25th. And listen for the door to knock.
I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, if you aren't following Colored Championship Wrestling after some of these comments, you definitely need to go over their Facebook group, as we've shared their page here. And we've got here more from Ronnie Thatcher. Haha, Amber, stop talking, you wet mug. And then Mad Max Cooper says, PG, Ronnie is a wimp. And then Ronnie Thatcher says, listen, when you can wrestle without getting out of breath under 3 minutes, then talk to me. But for now, get lost, you mug. Taylor Truth says, I know who it is, process of elimination. Well, I don't know if you'd know Taylor Truths, but obviously you can find out, I'm sure, afterwards if Mr. Barrass would like to share. But Prince Dagan says, true light in the dark equals Dagan. So maybe that's shots fired, but I think Prince is full with Rob Bagwell. That I'm pretty sure, right? June the 25th?
Yes. 2 seconds. True light in the dark champion, Dagon. If that was true, Dagon, I hope someone's there to translate this in English. But you had your chance in that 10-man and women Rumble, and you blew it. You got eliminated. So really, the true light in the dark champion is Amber Joe. There you go. Clear that up.
Okay, I'll tell you what, that is certainly a fair point here. Slugger says, no, I did not. I said if she was the best, she would be top tier. Okay, so that is certainly here. But let me get to somebody that you may or may not know here very well, because obviously he's somebody that, how can I put this, has definitely been a big supporter like yourself of Sportswire Radio. And That is, of course, Mr. Gareth Thompson. He might be related to somebody or might know somebody from another company who certainly is a boss also, you might say. And he says, apology if the question has already been asked. Do you have your eyes on any new talent to bring into CCW? Would you like to elaborate on that?
My question to go back on that one could be, does any new talent have their eyes on CCW?
I tell you what, that is certainly a very, very interesting point, and that's certainly a point well taken here. And certainly for Mr. Thompson, I would certainly would want to pass that back to anybody he may know. Certainly, he might know some people that maybe would have an idea on that. And Colin McGregor, who we've obviously announced is going to come on here next Monday with Lord Damian Stone, and we'll run through the card here formally. We'll talk about things we can look forward to here. So excited about Colin and Lord Damian together. And Mad Max Cooper says, see, Barrass doesn't reply after I called him out on his threat. And Slugger Hampton says, oh, look at this. Mr. Angel's mate sniffing. So certainly Mr. Hampton knows a thing or two about GTM, because going into it, he did the company very proud because he defended those tag team championships as part of the working class militia at GTM Judgment Day. And the guy successfully retained against the educators and the modern day mafia. That had to make you feel proud that the boys did you guys so well and came out of it and continued to hold the belts.
The most proudest moment in my life was seeing my boys be born. The second most proudest moment in my life, is seeing the working class militia take them CCW tag titles to another promotion, walk in there champs and leave champs, exactly what they said they were going to do.
Well, I'll tell you what, I almost have to ask you. I have two quick comments, but I wanted to ask you because I always find it so interesting because over the past several weeks, we've spoke a lot about the Forbidden Door on Sportswire Radio, and there's a number of different companies that are, some of them have obviously you worked with, some of them there's definitely some crossover. But is that something you guys would like to do more often, is have maybe more crossover with different companies? That's something that you guys would like to do more often?
Well, when the other promotions maybe, run back to us and not away from us. But at the moment, we've done fine. We've done fine building this up ourselves. We are happy. We will support GT Ministries, ACW, up Albert Championship Wrestling up in Scotland. We're happy to support anybody and to help. We're all in the same boat. We're all doing something that we love. Each promotion tells their own story in their own unique way, and it just happens to be is a lot of people just don't like us, but that is fine.
Well, I think they don't like you because you guys are successful. Because listen, 26,000 views in the month of May, right? Colin McGregor points out now 9 consecutive sellout shows. So if you take a step back, right, jealousy always comes with success, right? Anybody that's successful in anything in life, right? You want to take a shot at those who might be at the top. So at the end of the day, I'll tell you one thing. These companies, they're not having the success what you guys do. Look at the award show. Look at all your champions. Look at the cross-promotion success. Look at the video stream. Listen, every time I do a CCW show on Facebook, I get loads and loads and loads and loads of views because CCW fans are like no other. They very well could be the best fans in all of professional wrestling here. And certainly we have a few more comments in here. And Slugger Hampton, we went back to, he goes back and says, we want the modern day mafia when Joel Cobra is ready, because Joel Cobra is out of action now for several months. So we obviously wish Joel well. Anything for the boss. Yeah, Joel's a good man. Joel will be back with us here soon to get us ready for GTM coverage next month. Taylor Trude says, respect will be given to other promotions when it received monthly shows, 9 straight sellouts. And Man Max Cooper says, what about PBW, where Max will be training very soon? I don't want to tip your hand if there's something that we might be knowing in the pikes, but if you guys work with PBW, I'm sure you can find out on the CCW page which you can do on Facebook at Colory Championship Wrestling. It's a public group. Over 4,000 members are in it. Make sure we get 4,000 more. I am the host of the Sports Report and the station manager here of Sportswire Radio. And if you like what you hear from us on Sportswire Radio, I highly encourage you give us a like on Facebook at Sportswire Radio. And 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, you can listen to all of our great content on sportnarium.com/player. In about, I'd say, a half hour or so, we're going to hear from the returning, speaking of GTM, returning GTM star Champ Rogers, and who also is a part of Nonstop Action Wrestling. So I'm looking forward to having Champ. We're supposed to have him on in about 20 minutes, but we're hanging out with Mr. Barrass. He is the boss. So we'll hang out with him a little while longer. And Colin McGregor says, evening, Tom Bryce. I am certainly looking forward to you coming on with Lord Damian Stone next week. And before I get into Slugger's announcement and my own announcement regarding a stream for us here later on in the week, I did want to ask you on a personal level, and I'll get to Slugger right afterwards because he has an announcement that I definitely want to get into, and I promised I would plug because we spoke about this off the air. But how did CCW all start? Because I see all these people that have tuned in here. I see all these different people I know that watch on my end, on my Facebook page. And obviously, we're on the radio here worldwide on sportnarium.com/player. And I always like to ask this question to people. I mean, how did CCW all come about?
Back in 2019, yes, 2019, I was training with another promotion. First time doing wrestling training and going around, helping out and going to the show, see how everything was put together. And obviously, this isn't a dig or a knock or a shoot or anything like this. This is just exactly how it was. Obviously, not many fans were kind of turning up to the promotion, and the promoter was losing out big time, big money. And and I thought, how can I be of some help? How can I help this person? To get fans in, to revamp something fresh, something new, maybe. And went home, pen, book, started writing, started putting everything that came into my mind. And I thought, I live in a colliery area, so colliery areas is where the coal mines were. And I thought, you know what it is? Why don't we have that as a kind of not a theme, but an identity kind of backbone? So if you look there, that's pieces of coal in the earth. And it's, the mining cart and the pit wheel, what used to turn and the coal used to come and have it as kind of a backbone. And there's loads of ideas you could have used from it. And I was coming up with characters. Anyway, I approached the promoter and I said, look, I've got this idea. I had nothing, like literally nothing. And I just said, look, I pitched this idea, and it was like kind of laughed at and kind of no. And I was like, oh, right, okay, no bother. I put all this hard work into it. So anyway, the promoter finally approached us and he said, you know that idea that you've got CCW? And I was like, yes. He says, right, how about you make it a sister show to my show? So I said, what do you mean? He said, WWE, they have Raw and SmackDown. I can be Raw. Your show could be the SmackDown. So I didn't have nothing, literally no ring, no roster, nothing. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I just kind of got on the crazy train and I couldn't get off it. And I'm not going to lie, the thing with me, when I get a bee in my bonnet, I have to keep going and I can't do it until I'm satisfied. So basically, I said, yes, let's go for it. Let's do it. Then it was, all these ideas were coming up. I was writing, working hard, sleepless nights, putting everything down. And 1 minute, I just thought, this other person would end up taking all the credit. If this was successful, if this did well, this other person could take all the credit because I was the sister show to the brother show kind of thing. So I rejected it. I said, look, don't want to do it. Don't want to go down that road. I'm going to start on my own. And that's when I went, damn, how am I going to start this on my own? But anyway, everything fell into place. And the thing with me is I have an imagination. And to me, wrestling is storytelling. It's storytelling, and you've got to be invested into certain characters, into stories. You've got to be taken on a ride. If you're not invested or anything like that, so I thought that was the good thing about me. I could put pen to paper. I could create, and we end up getting a ring. We end up getting everything we needed. We fell into COVID. Damn it! So we had everything. We couldn't wrestle in a ring. We couldn't do training. We couldn't do nothing. So what we did is we made cinematics. So we found locations. So basically, we really got shut down for this by other promotions and everything. Blah, blah, blah. But what they don't realize is when other promotions just shut the doors, people out there needed entertainment. They needed entertainment.
Oh, absolutely. We had it here on Sportswire Radio,
Yeah.
all the different wrestlers. The gyms weren't open. You couldn't
Yeah.
go outside in your own area only at a certain point.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like
Yeah.
really brutal. I mean,
Yeah.
I hope nobody has to go through that again. I really hope not.
Yeah, hopefully, definitely not. So pardon me, we risked everything because we weren't allowed to go outside really. So we risked, obviously the police did turn up on a couple of the cinematics, but they were totally fine. But we risked getting fined, we risked getting locked up, we risked getting in trouble just to put on entertainment for people that were sitting at home and they couldn't leave. And we thought we were obligated to kind of do this for the people while they were sitting at home. And we just, like I say, we jumped on this crazy train and we just couldn't get off it. And we just started building the stories. We went up to Scotland. We crossed the border. We hired a minibus and we crossed the border to go up to Scotland to film a cinematic, the first ever cinematic with Mad Max Cooper. And we weren't really supposed to do that, but we thought, people need entertainment and they need something. I'm not saying the TV was there, but they just people that were following us and they want to know more. And it just led from that to the next, And then we were allowed to start to put on events and shows. And then it's just been constant sellouts and sellouts and sellouts. And people, like, we sold one show out within 3 hours of selling the tickets.
Wow.
3 hours. I'm not saying that'll be the fastest ever record, but that is for us. But 3 hours. And what I seen one comment, this wrestler, he put, of course they're going to sell out because they're only selling out to 15 people. And I'm thinking, whatever. I could just reply back and just shoot this guy down and thinking, have you not seen some old footage when there's over 250 people in the crowd? And I'm thinking, don't be silly.
Hey, listen, sellout is a sellout. And you know what? I speak with a lot of companies out there. I'm sure you're familiar. And a lot of times I'm saying, well, there's tickets still available. It's only £6 or £7. And the fact that you guys are able to do that in such a short amount of time really speaks volumes to the support that you guys have here.
Like I say, if we had a venue that only held like 50 or 100, we would have a lot of people that would be left out that would be disappointed. That isn't me bigging myself up or bigging CCW up, but that is what it means to a lot of people to get to the show, to see what happens, to interact with the people, because it's family, it's love, it's the feel what they have in that environment.
Absolutely. And it is going to continue here, of course, on June the 25th with Cole, not Dole, because we have a lot of big matches. Slugger Hampton's in action against BMD, and certainly BMD doesn't have any hair these days. That's a story for itself. Prince Dagan, who we're going to get to here in a second, before Slugger's announcement here. Also, he's going to be in the ring. We'll have an announcement with him.
Well, I will. Can I just say something, Rev? I will say something.
Of course. Floor is yours.
BMD, I do apologise for ruining your audition for Rapunzel.
And let me get to a few more comments in here before I get to Slugger's announcement. The most famous words we hear in CCW, I have an idea. Mad Max Cooper, I'll go out of character for one comment. If it wasn't for James, Mad Max wouldn't be here. That's very... And I think that's been the theme of CCW to me. Also, before I get to some more comments, is I speak with all different people, what it means to them individually. Obviously, having Lord Damian Stone, Slugger being on here, and Chris Onyx. And ladies and gentlemen, the ego has landed. Doesn't seem to talk about anyone behind the scenes, but there's more than you, Barrass. But I'll give you this. You did a good job in bringing misfits together. And James ran like a fill in the blank when the police arrived, and Taylor True says, I started during that time and it helped me deal with many issues within my life. Much respect to CCF and W. Slugger Sills, fill in the blanks. All right, so basically, I'm giving Slugger the opportunity here for his announcement since we have a little more time. So, and Dave Douglas, before that, boy, people killed the drum roll, but Dave Douglas, of course, one half of the Modern Day Mafia, says CCW need to book the Modern Day Mafia. Looking at the post, they seem to have a great fan base. We want some of that. Before I get to Slugger, I got to get to him. But Modern Day Mafia, would you like to have them in CCW?
Hell yeah, I do. Just to see it in live that my boys are going to beat you up again. So at the end of the day, hell yes, I want to see Modern Day Mafia at CCW. So when your tag partner is all healed, you know, kiss goodbye to the healing process because my guys are just going to get him injured again. But hell yes, I do want to see Modern Day Mafia at CCW.
I'll tell you what, certainly we can't wait for Joel Cobra to get back from being injured. Certainly we hope to see him in the near and distant future. We will have him back here on Sportswire Radio. But let me get to the announcement here from Slugger Hampton. Of course, one half of our tag team champions, our reigning defending CCW tag team champions. Of course, also a huge part of the top tier. And he says the first guest on the First Amendment this Friday is, and I guess
drum roll.
Yeah.
Done.
And in the meantime, Phil Russell says need a health update on my boy DB. Okay. Yeah, well, I'm gonna let Slugger do the. Here we go. So the announcement is, I kind of knew this was coming, but yours truly is actually going to be certainly the first guest on the First Amendment show coming up here. I believe 9 p.m. British Standard Time. That's on Facebook Live on the CCW page. So. They say here, and of course, of Slugger, we're going to be picking the brain of our friend across the pond. Tune in and get your questions in. Going to be an interesting show. Well, hopefully the guys don't go too hard on me. That's always the running joke. Hopefully they don't.
Yeah, I want to say to all of my fans in CCW and fans of CCW, I want everybody to give Reverend Tom Bryce a warm welcome to CCW when he is on our group page. Thank you very much.
I'm looking forward to it. And first of all, I want to thank, obviously, the guys for their support. I love having them, conversely, on Sportswire Radio and everything that the talent brings to the table. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm getting a bunch of comments in here for that. Rio says, I shall be watching. Poor choice of show, Tom Bryce. You'd be better suited to Tuesday. Well, how about this, Taylor? I'll come on a Tuesday night stream. I'll come on any stream anybody wants me to. So if you'd like, I'll come on any stream anybody wants me to. Not that I really matter. Claire Wilkinson says, fantastic. After the response from our debut last week, we're really looking forward to it, brother. Absolutely. And in fact, I just watched it, Slugger, before I came on the air, so I'm definitely excited to be on as well. But I also have an announcement I wanted to get to here also, is that Sunday night, 8 p.m. British Standard Time, Prince Dagan is going to be with us live on Sportswire Radio. So we'll make sure to share that also on the CCW page. And excited to have on Prince. We'll get his side of things and his match with Rob Bagwell coming up and everything else he's doing. So, Mr. Barrass,
Reverend. So let me get this straight. He's coming on Sunday, and it's Monday now. You basically got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You've got 5 days to learn Latin.
Well, I'll say this. I don't know how this is going to come across, but I wasn't good. I took Spanish up until I think I was like a junior or senior in high school, and they said Spanish was kind of similar, but maybe even less difficult than Latin, and I couldn't do well in Spanish. So that means that this is going to be an interview to watch me do poorly. And so if you want to watch me do poor in an interview, this might be the one for you. So certainly.
I do know if he does your head in, all you have to say is status. That means stop.
Well, I'm going to have to try and get like a Latin for Dummies book. Maybe I can get one of those on Amazon. Taylor Truth says the truth hurts on a Tuesday with Taylor Truth. All right, we'll figure that out. We'll see what my schedule is like here. Rio Delador says, hey, how about the tea time with the Countess? We can have a cuppa and a chat. Yeah, I guess. I mean, if you want me on, if you think I matter, yeah, I mean, I'll speak with anybody that you think is important. So, yeah, obviously, look, I definitely will do that. Max Cooper also says, I might be washing my hair on Friday. Also, Prince Dagan also says, with the Reverend David Dunes, Spawn, E.T., Beazle, etc. Beelzebub.
Beelzebub.
Beelzebub. So also thank you, Beelzebub. Also the Reverend David Dudes. I'm sure Mr. Barrass will definitely have some comments in here for that. Also, Jack Bartley says, evening, gentlemen. And Taylor Truth says, CCW had a show every night, and that's why we're busy online. And Claire Wilkinson says, you're going to be busy, Reverend. You've not seen my schedule already. I mean, I'm speaking with, in American time, 9 o'clock Eastern time tonight, a basketball player. I have a Friday show, which is American time, 9:30 on Friday, which Dustin Hart, for whatever reason, has popped in on. I mean, I'm pretty much on now that I've basically transitioned my schedule to almost being on every night on Sportswire Radio. So definitely,
Hope you don't get that. I hope you don't get that idiot Dustin Hart on, because
we don't have him scheduled at the moment. So that I'll tell you.
Because all you'll do is Reverend.
Well, he might, yeah. Well, I heard him speak at the award show. Ronnie Thatcher says Carnage Wednesday uncensored 9 p.m. UK time. And for you, Mr. Barrass, obviously your better half, significant other. So she's chimed in. She says hello. So obviously she's happy to tune in. And I almost have to ask you jokingly, what did you think of the poll that your better half put out there on the CCW page? No pressure, right?
I don't know what you're going on about.
Okay, well, certainly we'll leave that for another time in another spot. But as we got another few minutes with you, I wanted to ask you what else can we expect from you on June? Not from you personally, but the card as a whole on June the 25th.
Well, we have Amber Jo putting her title of Light in the Dark Championship up against her former tag team partner, Curtis Elliott. I've checked this guy out. He's a high flyer. He's very talented, this kid. And I'm really looking forward to this match. Really looking forward to it. Dagon and Rob Bagwell. That is a very tough one for me. I know what my head is saying, but I'll go with my heart on that. I won't say live, but...
Okay, fair enough. I respect that.
My heart is saying Dagon. My head is saying Rob Bagwell. Then we have, which I kind of seen earlier, Walker Wall Street getting spooked out by a young little girl and chased to the graveyard, and they pulled out this contract. So it looks like Walker will be taking on Beelzebub. So wonder how many pennies he's going to have to pay at the bribe to get out of that one. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing my guy, my champ, the CCW one half of the tag team champion, Slugger Hampton, when he destroys... Who's that? Remember that guy who... It was a brain and the Turtles. Can you remember? He was in the stomach and he looked like a brain. That's who that BMD looks like before he was Goldilocks.
Yes, I do certainly remember that reference. So, yeah, definitely... I'm excited about the card. And Jack
the main event.
Yep, give me the main event. Give me the main event before Jack Bartley gets to Jack Bartley.
And then the main event will be the Cole Not Dole match. So basically, it's a four-way. And basically, you could get pinned all night. So basically, the rules of this match is there'll be 4 bags hanging from each corner of the post. And they'll be filled with one bag will have 3 pieces of coal. The other bag will have 2 pieces of coal. The other bag will have 1 piece of coal. And the last bag will have a P45. Means you are losing your job at CCW. If you receive the bag with 3 pieces of coal, God forbid it's anybody else but my guy, Chris Onyx, you will receive the CCW Underground Championship title. If you receive 2 pieces of coal, you will receive the Miners Lamp. It's like our Money in the Bank. And you will have a guarantee title shot within 1 year. If you get 1 piece of coal in that bag, you will get a contract to CCW. So we have Tommy Diamond. We have Dustin Hart. We have a Priest. And then we have the champion, my man, Chris Onyx. So what you have to do, four-way, say my man pins a priest. My man then picks his choosing of a bag and steps aside. Then a four-way will become a triple threat. And then whoever gets pinned, whoever does a pin on that one, will go and pick a bag. And then it'll become a one-on-one. And then the last one to be pinned gets the last bag, what is remaining. So, to be honest, the odds can go either way because you could get pinned all the way through that match and you could even end up with the title, the CCW Underground Championship.
Ladies and gentlemen, wow. I mean, certainly no pressure if I'm Chris Onyx right now. I mean, no pressure at all. I mean, that is certainly some really, really, really intriguing stipulations there. I mean, certainly I'd be a little bit maybe concerned. I mean, I know it's Chris Onyx, and he is certainly as dominant as they come in world champions, but these are reasons why you definitely want to continue to like and follow everything that CCW has to offer. And something tells me here, like I said, if I'm Chris Onyx, I definitely got to parcel this all together here. And Jack Bartley says, I'll be making my intentions clear for June 25th, just shortly. Our old friend, Lord Damian Stone, who's back with us next week, says, I reckon if James doesn't go down on one knee, there might be a chop block in the works. I'm going to plead the fifth on that, so I'm going to certainly say that's going to be pleading the fifth. Rio Delador says, the Wally, as I like to call him, it's a love-late relationship. And certainly, Dagan got to do it. Rob's cool, but reckon Dagan from Claire. Kang. Damian Stone says Krang and his exoskeleton, and he kind of laughs. My money's on Prince Dagan from Mad Max Cooper. We've also got in here from Mr. Bartley. A P45 is an end of employment tax statement for non-UK viewers. Thank you very much for that. That is actually well appreciated. Rio Delador says, AKA stand in the dole queue, so get the coal or it's the dole. Michael Brown says Dustin Hart has to win this one. We'll see. Max Cooper says, Claire Wilkinson, lesser of all the evils, but my money is on the CWO. Ooh, top tier rules from Claire. Mad Max Cooper says, Claire Wilkinson and I have no respect for you. I don't know what it is. And Slugger Hampton says, you've lost all money if it ain't on top tier. And the way Slugger Hampton was dressed at the award show, I might be inclined to agree because I don't think there was a champion that dressed ever like Slugger Hampton was. And I also got to mention Uncle Ralph. Cannot go without this with mentioning Uncle Ralph because Uncle Ralph, I mean, he's the man.
I actually thought that was James Bond entering the building. He looked very smart. I was ready to tell the barman, it's shaken, not stirred. Heavy up.
I'll tell you what. I mean, certainly I'm speechless here, but also, like I said, Uncle Ralph. Give me a thought or two on Uncle Ralph here real quick as we have a few more minutes. Talk to me about Uncle Ralph.
Uncle Ralph, in my words, from my experience around this gentleman, he is an absolute fantastic human being inside this business and also outside. And I'm proud to announce tonight on your show that he works with a foundation called Miles for Men, and we have a registration form here. July the 31st, 2022, there will be a sort of like a charity run. We don't have to run, you can walk it, jog it, and you're getting all the miles in. It's across Hartlepool on our coast along the sea, like the seafront, and it's all for a good cause. And we're going to do it at CCW. We're going to get as many as we can, get the sponsor forms out. And I'm so proud to work with this gentleman. He brought one of the young guys who he's been helping out, who isn't very well. And we brought him to the show last month. And he's just a phenomenal young man. He gave me a hug. You know, I tried to make him happy. You know, we got him a T-shirt made for free. We give him hot dog, popcorn, anything that he wanted, and just to give back to this little soldier. But absolutely fantastic what Uncle Ralph is doing, and even at his age, he isn't sitting down and quitting. Remember what he says: "Old is gold." So massive respect to Uncle Ralph into everything he does with this organization. Hats off to you, sir. Thank you very much.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. When we have on Prince Dagan and Lord Damian Stone and Colin McGregor, we'd be happy to continue to promote that here throughout the next month on Sportswire Radio between now and July the 31st. So if there's anything that we can do here when it comes to promoting or giving our support, that is something that we would definitely be very happy to do here on Sportswire Radio. So anything we can do to help Uncle Ralph, anything that we can do to help the community here in CCW, and some individual who might be related to an individual who might know about an individual that's wrestled says, looking forward to the show. Looks like a stack card. Absolutely is going to be a great card. I can't wait to cover it here throughout the next week. When you're a champion, you dress and act like one. Claire Wilkinson says, Uncle Ralph gave me the honor of a dance. That is certainly a big honor. Old is definitely gold. And listen, the old expression is, I want to get to being old, right? I mean, listen, for all the people, like whether it's Kurt Cobain, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, all those people that died young.
27 Club.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, at the end of the day, right? I mean, you got to have an expiration date, but I want to get to there. So, Slugger Hampton says, Ralph is the working class militia's mentor and will always be. We owe a lot to that man. Mad Max Cooper says, God.
The elite establishment think they have one up because they have Mr. McGregor, the genius, but we have the oldest gold. You know, we have Ralph Foster. We have him on our side.
And I have someone for you that's actually, we spoke about the Forbidden Doors, and somebody that we've taken a liking to here on Sportswire Radio over the past several weeks. And he's a big man. He's actually undefeated. He's an undefeated wrestler. So he's got some big wins. And I wanted to bring him up on the screen because he's asking you a question. And this is the lawman, Kyle Kennedy of Nonstop Action Wrestling. He asked you directly, Mr. Barrass, do you need a lawman?
Well, I can think of some people that need locking up in CCW. So, yeah, drop me a message.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Undefeated. Last Thursday's guest, the lawman, Kyle Kennedy. He is 1/3 of the society, one of the premier groups in Nonstop Action Wrestling. And, of course, they have a tournament upcoming August the 13th, Fire and Gold, to crown their first ever world championship. And we're going to be speaking Nonstop Action Wrestling here in about 10 or so minutes with Champ Rogers, also of GTM. So the lawman Kyle Kennedy, I know, is going to definitely be with us here on Sportswire Radio because there's going to be a lot to say when it comes to from Mr. Rogers about the lawman Kyle Kennedy. The Reverend David Dude says, I'm an undefeated wrestler. But the Reverend David Dude, with all respect, you have to check out. He has to check out the lawman Kyle Kennedy because if the Reverend David Dudes was in the ring with the lawman Kyle Kennedy, I'm not quite sure if he would stay undefeated. So, and the lawman Kyle Kennedy.
My question to the lawman.
Yes.
Are you willing to lock up a reverend for me, please?
Ooh, that is I tell you what, that could be the terms of a deal here between the lawman Kyle Kennedy of Nonstop Action Wrestling, also of UKW, with CCW. So that could be something that, you know what, I might have to ask the lawman Kyle Kennedy when Champ Rogers is with us here shortly. So that's going to be something that you're going to be fun and tuned in here for. And Lord Damian Stone says here, I think in an age of faction war, a lawman may be an asset to the landscape of CCW. So I think Lord Damian Stone is definitely in agreement that we might need a lawman here. And the lawman Kyle Kennedy has responded. He says he's willing and he's waiting. Mr. Barrass, what do you say?
Get them handcuffs ready because you're coming to the northeast of England.
Ooh, and he's a big, I tell you something, Mr. Barrass, you're going to like this guy, the lawman Kyle Kennedy. I was watching some of his matches, some of his footage on YouTube. And, of course, you can go to YouTube Kyle Kennedy for his page to see all of his stuff. This is a guy that would be an excellent fit in any roster. This guy, let me tell you something here. You're going to definitely want to see his footage. Yeah. And we
Going
certainly
back to Lord Stone, Damian Stone there. The good thing about him, what I love about Damian Stone, is he knows talent when he sees it. He does kind of go up and down the country and watch other promotions.
He was a KOW show last month. We spoke with him about, obviously, off the air about KOW. We've done a lot with KOW in the past. He's familiar with Odyssey Pro Wrestling. He's been up in there. I think the LWF is on his list next. So certainly, we have a comment from an individual who might be related to an individual who's going to come on here after our stream, and he says the lawman Kyle Kennedy drinks the communal wine. So whatever that might be, and Mr. Kennedy certainly appreciates those comments. So as we get to closing thoughts here and get ready here, obviously, for more coverage here on Sportswire Radio, I wanted to ask you two things before I get to closing thoughts. The first thing is CCW, I've said, to me means community. For you, does that ring true on what CCW means to you on a personal level?
There's a lot of words I can use, but yeah, community, love, friendship, family, all them words all wrap up. And also top tier.
Well, I forgot about that, right? I walked into that one. I also wanted to ask you, because obviously you are the boss. Obviously, we've kind of seen a little bit of different wrestlers from different companies that might want to walk in. I know I asked you the question about the forbidden door, and it seems like the door is still open here with CCW. And I'm glad that's the case, because you guys do a lot of good things in the community. And I think that one incident should not put a blemish on that. And the reason I say that, and I'll continue to say it, is, for example, again, the death of Owen Hart in the WWE, right? People still watched Raw afterwards, right? Vince McMahon basically faked his own death, right? People still watch the WWE. I mean, we've saw many, many things. And listen, AEW, with what happened with the Jericho Appreciation Society against Eddie Kingston, Bryan Danielson, and Jon Moxley, there was more brutality, more damage in that than anything that what took place last month at CCW. So I can make countless examples as to why CCW should continue to be supported. But I do want to ask you then, what are your goals for CCW going forward? I kind of feel like I should ask you because you are the boss.
Oh, you put me on the spot. I just think, me personally, I always kind of take it week by week. We all know what we do on our nights, on our podcasts. Like tonight, I should have been doing Dudes Mania. And obviously, we get through the week leading up to the show. And then I just think that's what we've always done. Long term, I'm trying to think, just to keep being successful, to keep growing, to keep bringing people in to help them, and and just kind of to show people we're not the bad guys. We make mistakes like everybody else. We live, we learn. We might mess up down the line, or but at the end of the day, we're only human. I know that is always, the easy escape of that one, but if you don't make a mistake, how you can never learn from it. So it's kind of like at the end of the day, we said our sorries. We are sincere about it. But we've drew the line. We're moving forward as a team, and the loyalty of people that stood by us. There's been a few people that did kind of will come back when it clears up. I'm like,
when things die down, the dust.
Right? Yeah. So what I turned around and said, well, look, if you're not willing to ride the boat when the sea is rough, why are you worthy to ride the boat when the sea is calm with us? Do you know what I mean? So that was kind of my take on it. But they made the choice. That's totally up to them. That's fine. But, at the end of the day, we'll still continue to grow. We'll still have people that want to be on board with us. We'll still tell stories. And hopefully just people to still have that passion, the flame, the fire. I can't believe just the three letters in my mind, and then fast forwarded over 2 years ago, and boom, I've met people I've never met in my life. I've made friends I've never knew in my life, and just the feel that it's had. I wake up every morning, check my phone, and I see the CCW WhatsApp page. Everyone's good morning, and it's like, life's good. Life's good. Life is really good. I have people. There's people out there in the world that don't have anybody. They want to be a part of society. They want to have friends. They'll go to bed lonely. They'll wake up lonely, and and some people might have been like that, but we find each other in life, and everything is happening for a reason. So at the end of the day, I look at CCW as more than wrestling. It's a whole package of, we like. I want to give an honourable mention to the Salvation Army, Mark Simpson. Mark Simpson, Cellini, Matthew, my mum, she helps down there a couple of days a week and stuff, and they do absolutely fantastic work. And I was inspired by them and what they did with the community to not like think I'm going to do one better, but to just from the ground up and to do what they do and help back and give back and work alongside with the Salvation Army, and it's been absolutely fantastic. Like I was out Christmas Day last Christmas and the Christmas before, delivering hot dinners to the elderly, to the old men, women, single parents and stuff that they might not be able to afford to make dinners, and we're giving all these things out to them. And I sacrificed a couple of hours of my time, with my family to do that to the families, and it was one of the best feelings in the world. It was so good, feel like a feeling to help and give back. And I remember an old lady coming to the door, and she was getting teared up in the eye. I was like, "Are you okay there?" And she was like, "I never get to see anyone on Christmas Day, and you're the only one I'll ever get to see on Christmas Day." And I kind of like, whoa, do you know what I mean? And to have something like that, and it's fantastic. And last November we had a really bad storm that blew like fences down, everything. Well, on the seafront down Seaham, there was like a couple of autistic care homes, and the power went out. There was no power, no electricity. They didn't have hot water. They were reaching out for people to help. So I got a few of my guys together. We went down, the Salvation Army as well. We got flasks, hot water. We delivered pizzas, food, torches, batteries, and that is what CCW, as well as what is it CCW is all about. It's not just about the wrestling and putting the ring up. It's about setting an example and saying, look, you can go out there and help where you're from, help the communities, get involved. Do you know what I mean? And come together. We don't get paid for it.
Right.
We do it. We do it because we care. And when you do that and you set examples, you're hoping that people will look and get inspired and go, oh, we want to do that. We want to help. We want to get involved. So hopefully we set out a good message to kind of inspire other people to get out and help the communities as well, as what even like the Salvation Army does, Steph Carell and Morrison Supermarket, Uncle Ralph, loads of people. Do you know what I mean? So that summarizes is, family, love, strength, courage, everything with CCW. And I'm very fortunate and very lucky to just wake up in the morning and knowing I have this network and backbone of people of loyalty to not rely on, but like this big connection, this web of things, like people, sorry, and just knowing that you wake up every morning and you have that, and it's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. So, and I'm blessed. I'm really blessed to have that.
And I think that's what it's about. At the end of the day, to me, CCW is making a difference on behalf of people. And people always ask me, well, how have you survived doing this 3.5 years? I said it was the support of people, everyday people that said, you know what, I want to keep coming on. I want to keep supporting. And clearly what you guys do is something special. And definitely, like I said before, listen, there's countless companies that had even worse incidents than what you guys had. ECW had the mass transit incident many, many, many years ago, right? WWE, I could go on all day on how many things that they've had. I mean, Shawn Michaels was dancing naked in the ring before. I mean, there's been so many things that you could point to in different companies that they had much, much, much worse incidents. And people said, yeah, I'm still watching them. I mean, listen, there is CZW. I mean, there's so many companies that have had, listen, barbed wire matches, death, exploding bombs in the ring. I mean, we still praise those companies.
I have heard through the grapevine that apparently there is another CCW in the mix ready to get made. I believe it was it Cancel Culture Wrestling?
Wow, I was waiting for the setup. I'm like, okay, so what now you're gonna have another company that you're gonna be working on? I'm like, wow, okay, okay, well, certainly I think the whole locker room is definitely in agreement with that. But so I want to get to closing thoughts, because obviously it has been a tremendous honor. You're a very busy man. You have a lot on your plate, and I appreciate any time you've given us here, and certainly for allowing us to be a part of CCW's family. I'm excited for Friday. I'm excited for Sunday. next week, and Taylor Truth Show and Rio Delato, anybody else that we can have on here. We'll bring them. Listen, I'll bring everybody on. You got to give me some time. I'll get to everybody. I'll
If
get
you
to
do get that Reverend on, Rev, don't take no crap from him, please.
I try to be objective. Don't you worry. I try to be objective down the line for everybody. So don't you worry. I'll get to everybody, whether it's obviously Lord Damien Stone, Mad Max Cooper, Ronnie Thatcher. I'll get to everybody in due time. But I want to give you the floor now. I want to give you some closing thoughts. I want to give you anything you want to say to anybody that's listening, watching, fans, anything you want to plug, anything you want to say before the 25th of June. And obviously, I cannot thank you enough for this opportunity. I'm honored to have had you anytime you want to come on. Obviously, I know you're a busy man, but we'd be happy to have you. And I turn it over to you, so I give you the floor. Anything you want to plug, share, or say, I can't thank you enough. And the floor is yours.
Well, first, I want to say thank you very much. I've really had a fantastic time tonight. Fantastic time. I would normally be doing to me and shouting and bawling at all the people that just upset me. And so I'm in a good mood tonight. Thank you very much for that, Rev. But yeah, what I want to put out a message to people is never, ever doubt yourselves. If you have something you want to achieve, look no further to this guy, because it doesn't matter how much you get put through the mill, how much you get shut down, people don't believe in you. You remember, you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for yourself. If you've got something you want to do, if there's something that, you think CCW could be the place for something I've had this idea about, come and talk to me, because I might just shock you. Because at the end of the day, I've always said my dream of CCW has come true. Now it's my turn to make other people's dreams come true. And I've always said this as well, that CCW is like this tiny flower bud that when you come, will watch everyone grow together and blossom into the most beautiful flower you will ever see in your life grow. And we want to grow it together, because at the end of the day, I have never, ever done this before. I know a lot of people haven't, but we've made it this far together. So we've done something right. Haters can hate, but remember, the lovers can always love. We can always love and keep the love and the positivity together. So I will say, keep up the good work, the community work with the Salvation Army, with anybody, even helping a neighbour, things like that. Always look after yourself, take care of each other, love your family. Most importantly, love yourself as well. And wake up in the morning and smile, and, know that top tier is sorting the job out.
Why did I know that was coming in there? But obviously, listen, top tier, they are definitely a top tier group. And listen, the Bloodline have nothing on them, because you've got arguably the most dominant world champion around in Chris Onyx. You've got the tag team champions that have defended in other companies, and they're still standing. And that is the Working Class Militia. And of course, Mr. Barrass. So definitely the top tier are definitely up there. And Rio Delador says, CCW is a family. They accepted me when I had lost two of the most important people in my life. CCW for life. Never a perfect word spoken. Absolutely respect to you. We've all done this as a family. Well said, Mr. Barrass. So those are great things here. And again, if you are not following CCW, I highly encourage, after everything you've heard, if you are watching this outside of the CCW fan base, please go to their group, like it, Colory Championship Wrestling, June the 25th. Cole, not Dole. We are going to see a huge main event, a main event we've never seen before in professional wrestling. Slugger Hampton's in wrestling. Prince Dagan's in action. We're going to also see Amber's going to be in the house. I mean, going to be a lot of great activities, 9 consecutive sellouts. Let's keep it going. Let's keep the momentum going. And listen, John F. Kennedy famously said, a rising tide lifts all boats, and a rising tide is going to lift the boats of CCW. So let your hearts not be troubled. CCW is going to continue and only going to get stronger, not only because of Mr. Barrass, not only because of the talent, but the fans that continue to support, because the fans have spoken. They have said, you know what? CCW, we're still with you. 9 consecutive sellouts. It's going to be 10. It's going to be 11. It's going to be 12. So clearly, CCW's fans, they stand with CCW. And that's the most important person. It's not cancel culture. It's not Twitter. It's not individuals who are in the business who are saying, well, I can't get a date somewhere else because of CCW or whatever BS. It's the fans. And that's the only people that frankly matter. So, Mr. Barrass, it has been a tremendous honor. I know you're a busy man. You're getting ready for top tier stuff. You're getting ready for more streams. You're getting ready for much, much more. So I can't thank you enough.
Can I say thank you to one more person?
Go ahead.
The CCW mama, my mother. I love you to bits. Thank you very much. Thank you for putting up with us through me crazy times. And to Danielle as well. Thank you. And I love all my children as well. And but thank you for having us on. Neil Carr, another one of our top fans.
And I'm going to say this because I want to say this for everybody that's tuning in for CCW. CCW, 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 CCW. Yeah, I wanted to say it for you guys because I wanted to pay my tributes to you guys. But ladies and gentlemen, this is James Barrass. This is the story of CCW. This is a company that is alive and well. And June the 25th, you're going to be hearing a lot more about it here on Sportswire Radio. You're going to be hearing a lot more about it on the CCW pages. They have streams all throughout the week. Please go and support them. I want to thank everybody for watching and listening to this. If you are a wrestling fan and you'd like to hang out in about 10 or so minutes from now, I will have on Nonstop Action and GTM Wrestling star Champ Rogers. He will have a lot to say.
We need
to
hang out. Style.
End in style. That's it.
Do you know the two words?
Go ahead.
Peace out.
Well, all right. Well, I didn't expect that, but that's why we were here on the Sports Report, the number one global sports show with the boss of CCW. That's James Barrass. As I am the host of the Sports Report and the station manager of Sportswire Radio, the Reverend Tom Bryce. We'll be back up and running here in about 10 or so minutes with Champ Rogers. Until then, thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. Thank you, James Barrass. Thank you for the CCW fans. And to Mr. Barrass, peace out.
Peace out.